Why does it look so blurry? Okay. It's better now. Hello, if everybody. Oh, just somebody's here. Yes. Try to give you guys a warning today. The video on my laptop is a little lagged. Oops, let me turn the volume off there. Okay. Hopefully we will not get too interrupted because my son is being having one of those days today. So, I have 2 new key fobs. They're pretty much ready to go. I just have to get the packages ready and get them listed. So, I had fun. I have, I think, 7 or 8 more that I have to eventually get to that I've started in various stages. Unfortunately, I kind of like had a little in for the triangle key fob pouches and then the rectangular ones, and somebody else is kind of like stealing my thunder, but that's okay. Anyway, so these are the 2 that I'm working on today. I've already done the 5x7s, and I'm going to do the 4x4 to show y'all. So this one, is that adorable? I just love it. So it's sealed with a kiss down there. So this is the 5x7, and okay, so Grayson had to come in and give me a kiss. So the 5x7, let me grab a card here to show you. The 5x7 will fit credit cards and money, so you can fit that in the 5x7. The 4x4 will not. It's a little smaller in order to get it in there, but it will not fit the credit cards in it. But it's perfect size for change. I had a bill up here somewhere. I don't know where that went. Coins, change, what have you. So that's that one. Then, since it's baseball season, and I know I don't have the right baseball color, but it is what it is. I have white. These are the baseballs. How cute is that? So I'm going to include 2 versions in the file because the baseball one is round. So if you don't want to use a key fob holder, then you don't want to have this little tab at the top. It'll look kind of wonky. So I made another version that's just flat, and you can use a D-ring and some ribbon. I used a leftover piece of zipper and hang it that way. These would be so adorable if you, of course I don't have a wrist strap here. If you put a wrist straplet on it, and then you can hold it on your wrist while you're at the baseball game. You don't have to worry about losing your money and ID and all that. So either way, so this is the 5x7, and they will fit credit cards as well. They're actually, the 5x7 is actually quite generous in size, so it'll fit that. And I don't know if anybody's putting comments. Somebody say hi or something so I can tell if I can see the comments. I don't know how to tell on this screen. I think I can only see them on the computer screen here. Why is it not showing me them? It shows the comments here are selected. I don't see anything. Let me see if I can say hi and then see my own comment. Guess I did. Oh, there. Yep, I see them. Okay, great. Nobody's talking yet. All right, so these are the baseball. And another thing I have coming for you, and this doesn't really match, but I didn't use the right thing. I have some zipper pulls for you. I have this one, and I don't have the other 2. I'm sorry, just one moment. Grayson! Sorry. Please. Okay. Sorry. So I'm working on the, oh, okay, sorry about that. You know, I tried to be prepared. The dog was put away. The child was supposed to be put away, and they're still interrupting me. I'm trying some different lighting here to see if this works for us. Okay. So let me move these out of the way. I have 3 zipper pulls. Oh, here they are. These just need one more edit. This little makeup brush and eye. So these will be fun to put on your bags, so that's easier to pull the zipper, obviously. Don't mind me, I just had to use this. I couldn't find I have tiny little split rings that you can use for this purpose, but I don't know what I did with them, so I just grabbed this. But yeah, see how cute. Okay, so we're gonna start with the baseball. So I've already hooped my tearaway. I know I say tearaway all the time, but I'm actually thinking I'm going to start moving over to poly mesh for a lot of my in the hoop bags, because especially lined ones, because it's soft. And I'm going to show you a trick that if you want to be able to conceal the stitching, I'll do that on the next bag, but on this one I'm just doing this. And my zippers, I'm running out of zippers, so the colors are not going to match. But of course this is the zipper line, so we want to take our zipper and put it, I do have one more red. We want to put it, and so it's centered. Let's see if I can pull this down a little bit more. There we go, much better. So we want our zipper to be centered in those lines. And you can fold up and make sure the seam of your zipper tape is over the middle of that line. And I'm using the Transfor tape. I have both of these, the Transfor and the pink tape I use interchangeably. And just make sure that you tape down the hardware. These zipper, lace zippers have that little ball chain on it, which is really why I like them. But if I'm being honest, these are not the best for bags. I know it was all the craze for a while, but they're really not. And the integrity of them with all these holes really is not the best for bag making, because they tear very easily. So I like to put, I'm going to tear this longwise. I like to also tape down, it's not as big of a deal with these short ones, but when you're using a long zipper, if you do not tape it down in the middle, it will get, the presser foot will push it out of whack while you're stitching. So now we're going to go ahead and do the tack down for the zipper. I swear I'm not saying that word right. I had to switch threads because the thread I was using was really, kept breaking. It was one of the little spools, and I'm just winging it because I don't have cutting table down here, so I'm just going to wing it with the cutting of the material. This may have been a bad time to pick to do this because it's dinner time. It is what it is. It's what the time I had available to do it. This is really going to be a quick hit, and I think if you're selling at craft fairs, it's going to be a huge popularity. So I'm just tearing that tape off and cutting this little jump string out of the way. Cut those as you go along. There's not a lot of them. Now, where's my white vinyl at? I just had it. Oh, there it is. So I'm using the promo from My Punk. It is a little bit thinner than the marine vinyls, but it's what I had handy. I would totally do this in glitter vinyl though, because it would be so much prettier. Alright, hopefully I cut this big enough because I just realized I didn't look at it very well. So I'll have dimensions in there. Hi, Lori and Tori. Yeah, we went to see Aladdin today. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it was really good. I was very impressed. We had a lot of fun with it. So I'm doing the squash here and making sure I have enough vinyl. I toyed with putting a placement line for the last piece because it's kind of hard to line it up, but if you do that, it makes the seam so much thicker, and then especially with the round bag, it's just not ideal, so I'm not doing that. I'll show you the trick to making sure to try and get it lined up well when you place the backing on it. And again, I'm just winging it because I didn't plan ahead and cut these pieces. But when you get the PDF, it will have the instructions in it. So what I'm going to do is show you the trick if you want to not have the interior stitching showing. I'm going to get some of this, what is this stuff called again? Olifun. So I'm going to cut that equally. And we're going to place it down now. And it is going to be a pain because we have two sides here, but that's okay. So I'm going to turn this over and tape this. So we're going to use this side of the hoop first. So when you turn it, so we're going to put our vinyl here. So when you turn this over, you need to do the same thing with the Olifun. So we're going to line it up with that zipper. So again, show you this. So we're going to line it here, stitch, and then fold over. So we're going to do the same thing with the Olifun. I'm going to tape it down on the back. And you actually don't need it to go all the way over to the... This is a non-fraying material, so you can actually kind of just eyeball it and put it halfway over. Tape it in place so it doesn't come loose underneath your frame. It's interesting, on the 350 that I have, I didn't have any issues at all with the underside bumping up, but on this one I do. I'm not sure why that is. So again, we're going to line this up so it's aligned with the zipper edge, and we're going to put pieces taped down because we're not holding this with our hands while it's going under that thing. You guys are going to have to forgive me because I actually have been battling migraines for a few days, and I have not been able to get the right names or words in my mouth all day today. I kept trying to talk about these celebrities with my friend when we went to the movies, and I just kept tearing everything up. Okay, and I'm just not changing my threads. I'm using red, but for these steps, you'd want to match the thread to the vinyl and use white because every once in a while the stitches will show through. So now we're just doing a tack down. If you wanted to do the lace zipper showing, you could reverse this and you could reverse the steps and place the vinyl down first and butt it up to the zipper. I'll show you in a second here. And then do the zipper last, but I'm not worrying about that. I am not going to undo the Oli right now because we're going to stitch the decorative stitch and we don't want the Oli to get caught in that. So we're going to leave that unfolded. We're going to go ahead and fold this down and do our top stitch. And you want to kind of get the vinyl pressed against something so you don't unhoop your project. And you want to get the vinyl folded down as quickly, or I'm sorry, as well as you can. Use a boning tool or whatever. So I hope I'm doing good. So fold that down, and then we're going to do the top stitch. Again, we're leaving our Olifun folded over for right now. And actually we're going to have to flip-flop because I'm assuming you're not using Olifun, so you have to do both sides and then the decorative stitching. Maybe I'll switch those steps around. So we are going to have to fold the Olifun back over right now so we can do the other side. So let's just fold this over out of the way for right now. But any bag that you have that has unfinished inside and you don't want to see the raw stitches, you can do this little trick. Just attach it when you're attaching the front vinyl and just taping out of the way for right now. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and we've already taped it over here, so now this piece has to line up there. So I'm actually just going to line it up right there is fine. And then we're going to have to flip it back and forth when we do the two sides I'm sorry, I have this wrong. We need to align it along this edge now. When we get ready to do the decorative stitching, we're going to flip it back and forth. All right. Just put some tape down to hold it out of the way. Hi Sharon, how's your son doing? It seems like a bad time. Your son had his accident and Pretty in the stitches. I don't know if you guys know Teresa. Her son is sick again too. So it seems to be a bad time for our kids right now. Okay, and again we're going to line up the vinyl with the edge here. And other than Lori, I think Lori is new. I think the rest of you guys know how to do these basic steps here. But it's just something fun to watch. I don't know, but I will sit and watch sewing at night to relax me before I go to bed. I'm not learning anything. It's the same stuff I've always done, but watching the people do it relaxes me. All right, again, we're going to tape because we do not want our fingers in there. And one of my testers, I'm not calling out her name, but she did it last week. And she got a needle through her finger and had to have surgery. Hi, Diane. We are doing 2 designs today, 2 key fob designs. The first one we're doing is the baseball. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that Oli over there while I top stitch. You could actually top stitch through the Oli, but it's probably not needed. And then I'm going to top stitch this. And actually I am going to fold over, let me top stitch first before we fold over the Oli. Actually it does the decorative stitch on this side first, that's right. Okay, so top stitch, and then after we do the decorative stitch on this side, we'll fold both pieces of Oli over. Does anybody know, is it Oli or Owly? Oh, you're new. Thank you, Lori. I'm kind of a little bit spastic, but it's okay. Jacqueline, so you're the same way as me. It's very therapeutic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and now do the decorative stitch on this side. And you don't need any extra stabilizer for this one because it's not that dense. And if you see that something is looking like it's coming out of kilter or something, bring your seam ripper or something in there. And then right now I'm going to do the basting stitch, but before I do that I'm going to pull the first layer of Oli Fun over because I want that to be caught in the basting stitch. And I add this basting reinforcement stitch because sometimes the zipper pouch just needs that. So I'm going to fold only this one over for right now. Fold it open. Hey Grayson, could you please take care of the dog? And you don't want to leave, can you guys see how this is puckered up? You don't want to leave that like that because sure as fire, if you do that, it's going to get caught on something and it'll come undone. And then you'll have a mess. So put another piece of tape there. Okay, so now it's going to come down here and do a tack across here just to give extra security to that zipper. I'm trying to find those heme steps. What did I do with those hemostats? These are the best thing ever because you can use them in so many ways, and I don't know what I did with them. So I use those to help hold it down. Okay, now our reinforcement stitch is done, so we don't want to stitch through the Oli Fun back over here. So we're going to flip that over. Reuse the same pieces of tape. And our basting stitch did go through the Oli right there a little bit, but that's okay. It's not going to be in the way of the decorative stitching. This is just a trick. To be honest, I didn't even worry about it with my bags I just wanted to show the trick. I actually learned that from Jojo should be doing this today. String Theory Fabric Art. And if you guys did not make it to her site yet, she did make it to the goal for the 50% off sale, so it's coming. So make sure you look in the group for that link to her site, because her stuff is just phenomenal. She does stuff that I don't do. Harry Potter, Avengers, Marvel, all those kibbies and chibis, that's what they're called, chibis. Oh, and see, it came over here and I forgot. I didn't think I needed to do it yet. So what happens is when you have these pieces like this, the presser foot can pull up on it. So before I do the next step, I always put a piece of tape down there, but it already did it. So now we're going to go ahead and turn back over to the back, and now we can cover up that decorative stitch. And you could pull out that tearaway right now if you want. I'm not going to worry about that tearaway. I'm just going to leave it in there. And it is a little bit more helpful to pull out your stabilizer behind your zipper right now. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and trim these little hairs away. And Tori, my son does the same thing when I'm watching YouTube stuff. He'll come over and give it a heart. He feels really bad when somebody doesn't have any likes. And so he'll like give him a little hot like. Right, just tearing that away. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and pull our zipper down. And so some landmarks for you to pay attention to when you're placing stuff. There's a back stitch here, and then see where the top of your the basting line is. The stitch area is going to be this in line with that. So it can go through the tape, it's fine, but I like to put a little bridge there to keep that smooth, so when it tacks this zipper together. And now is a good time to go ahead and, well, let's do this tack first. And then we'll go ahead and go to the back and we'll cut out anything. Oh, I forgot before we did this tack. That's okay, we can redo it. So we're doing the unlined bag right now. Or, I'm sorry, the non-key fob pouch. So we need a D-ring in here. And alternatively, you could just use a ribbon, a loop of ribbon or whatever. So I'm going to go back and do that step over. I forgot to do that. I can't get through one live video without forgetting something, can I? It's because I'm used to doing the key fobs. But I didn't want to have a tab hanging out of a round object. Okay, so I just have a piece of fold over elastic here. Hi, Debbie. Oh, Brenda, this is a Janome 500E. So we want our D-ring to be inside. I wish I had the smaller ones. We want it to be inside. So what you would have done is you would have lined it up with the top stitching. And you have your personal machine distance. So you want, I don't have the ruler handy here, but you want the distance between the bottom of or the top of this D-ring and your stitch area to be the width of your presser foot, because it's got to be able to navigate across there. So you may be able to have a shorter length than I may be able to have, or I can have a shorter one. Like if you're using the 6 needle machines, the feet are really tiny, so you can do that. So I'm going to tape this down, and I'm going to put a piece of tape on that D-ring too, just to make sure it doesn't move around on us. Alright, so we're pretending we didn't do that stitch. We're going to go back and do that. So this is when you would put it, and this will be in the instructions. This will be when you put it. And now look, can you see what I did? I'm going to try and squeeze you in. This is what you don't want to do. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Alright, I'm going to take you off the camera, the tripod, just a minute so you can see. Finish the live. Okay, so, oh, did I mess you guys up? I got too short. Sorry, I'm like messing you guys up. Oh, I did. Did I? No, I'm right. Okay, so what I wanted you to see is the foot is going to hit that FOE and it's going to get stuck right in it because, let me turn it this way, because the way it is. So pay attention to that. I think you can see it now. You don't want that foot's going to, it won't glide over that because it's up higher than the foot. So you want to make sure to put another piece of tape there so that that foot does not get stuck there. The tape acts as a bridge and allows that to get over that little hump there. Sorry for that little departure. Hope I didn't give you guys get you seasick there. But those are the things you have to look out for, and everybody's machine is different, so you have to pay attention to how your machine works. I can't design this for everything, so I'm going to put another piece there, and it's going to get stitched in there, but this tape seems to come out okay. Okay. Now it's pushed down, so the presser foot should be able to go over it without getting stuck. Hi Debbie, we are working on 2 key fobs today. The first one we're doing is this one here, and then we're going to do another one as well. This one is, I'm just using a hanging loop for it and not using the key fob hardware. And the second one we'll do the key fob hardware. Okay, so now go ahead and remove this extra tape and do it gingerly because it can pull the stitches out. And I'm just putting this tape on my little arm over here. Alright, there we go. Leave that little D-ring down there. Tape down for now. And I'm going to pull the zipper just a little bit more down because it's not enough. So now I'm going to take some sharp scissors and cut through the back and trim out the zipper stabilizer now. It's just easier to do it while it's still hooped. So just careful with what you use. These are probably too sharp to do this with. But you just got to get in there underneath the stabilizer and pull it out. If you're using cutaway, then cut it out. I'm not using cutaway, so I can tear it out. It's actually easier with the seam ripper. But be very careful because you don't want to cut your tape, your ribbon, your zipper tape. Definitely don't want to do that, else you're going to have no good of a bag. Okay. So go ahead and tear that away. Usually what I do is I get a hold of that middle string, and I didn't do it, I got the bobbin. If I can get a hold of the middle placement stitch, I can usually pull the entire strip of stabilizer out. But I did not get a hold of it. I think I got it now. So if you can get a hold of that at the top and just pull on it, it pulls the entire piece of tearaway out. But if you're using poly mesh or something, then you need to cut it. It's just easier. Okay, we're gonna finish that later. Okay, so I'm not putting a placement line for the final stitch, so I'm gonna have to eyeball it. Let's see. I will have cutting directions for you though, so don't worry about that. So what you'll want to do is whatever the dimensions are that I tell you to cut it, and I try to be on a little bit of a generous side. So if you're going to make a lot of these, you can go ahead and adjust it. So fold this over in half so you get just a little bit of a soft crease. And then make sure that you have at least a 1/4 inch past this bottom tack down and a 1/4 inch at the top, and then fold it on the zipper and then unwrap it or unfold it, and that way you know it's placed. That way I don't have to add another stitch line that's going to bulk up the seam, especially in a rounded bag. Okay, so everything's taped down and secure. If you wanted to, you could actually put another piece of leaf on here. Let's go ahead and do that. I know you can't. I'm sorry, because we don't have a. It would get closed up. You could put it on this side if you wanted to. Yeah. I don't. The only fun is just to cover up the decorative stitching, but maybe you don't want to see that. So let's put it on this side. And I'll do that just so you can see what it looks like. Just put a piece of olifant in there as well. Should have done that first before I taped it down. Okay. We still have to get dinner yet. My tummy got a little upset from the popcorn at the movie theater. I'm not sure why. So you can put it face down on the backward side of the lining if you want it to match. Okay. Now this is going to go around twice. And if I had the other thing that I can't find to show you how I do it. So if I think things are starting to get wonky in there, I get those hemostats and bring them in here so my fingers aren't anywhere near that needle. Okay, now it's going to position for another stitch, but we're not going to stitch that stitch out. Remember, that's to stop us from getting recentered on this hardware. And with all this in here, it definitely would have got stuck. So I'm going to go ahead and unhoop this, and we'll trim it out while we start the other one. So there's the back, and that's the front. Right, I'm going to go ahead and get the next one started while we do this, for the sake of time. Because I'm sure my son is probably going to be yelling for dinner soon. Oh, that tape stuck to the back of the hoop. I definitely am getting extra hoops on my wish list, because when I got my multi-needle machine, the first one, I had 2 sets of hoops for it, and it was amazing when you're doing a lot of assembly work. And so when I resold that one, I kept the extra set of hoops for myself. But on these single needle machines, I did not get extra hoops. And I'm ordering some because it's so much helpful. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my next design, and we'll start stitching that down. Now this one's going to be a key fob. We're going to do a key fob on this. But the lips actually can be a loop or key fob, the way they're designed. You don't need a separate file for the lips. So we're going to go ahead and tear all this tearaway away. Tear away, tear away. I just want to focus your eyes on one thing when we trim this. So with these unlined bags, okay, sneak peek time. I'm hoping these will be done by next weekend, but I need to show you. I needed to use this to show you. So when you have the lined bags, the lining helps to reinforce that zipper tape that's in there. It hides it away and it helps to reinforce it so that when you go like this, your zipper pull doesn't pull off. But when you're doing the unlined bags, I think I can show you on this one because it's not done. You don't have that extra fabric in here to reinforce this. So what happens is if you trim the zipper tape even with the vinyl when you're trimming it, it puts a lot of pressure on those stitches and they may come out. So leave it a little bit longer, like a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. Yes, you'll see it inside here, but that's okay. The other thing you can do is if you don't want to see it, you can take a little swatch of vinyl. So you could take a swatch of vinyl, put some double-sided tape on both sides of it, fold it over like this, and put it on top of here and put a rivet through it. And then you have a little decorative closure that will hide that extra seam. So we're doing 2 things at once here. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this. And my tension, still can't get it right. This thread came loose, but that would be where your thread is. And oh, did I use my last red for that bag? Okay. What color are we going to use then? Oh my goodness gracious. I guess gray is going to be the closest thing. Oh, I should have brought some purple down here and we could have purple lips. Okay. Guess we're going to have gray lip. Gray. Yeah. Okay, so again, just like the last time, we're going to center the zipper on the lines for those who weren't here earlier. So you want to center it on these 3 lines with the zipper teeth over the middle line. And it's okay that mine just came undone. I'm just gonna eyeball it with the bottom line. It should be fine. Put a piece of tape in the middle and then at each end. Trying to reuse some of this tape from earlier. And you don't have to necessarily have the zipper at the same end I do, but going back to what we were talking about with reinforcing this, if you have the zipper opening down here, that's really going to be risky at the integrity of the zipper. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the red in there for now. So I've taped the zipper down and it's going to do the, just keep this. It's going to do the tack down. And this is tacking it down to the stabilizer, but it really helps the zipper not to come loose. The other benefit of doing this step is if it does come loose, you still have time to adjust, make it take the stitches out and refix it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim around this, and this is, I'm only doing 1/8 of an inch around this, but when I get to the part where this zipper is at, I'm going to pull this forward so that I can leave the zipper longer. So I'll trim this behind here and then I'll pull it forward. So let me show you that right now. I'm just going to do a straight cut across. So I'm holding the Ole Fun out of the way, and then this zipper. So in the front I have that Ole Fun, and the back you don't have to hold it out of the way. So just in the front. So you have to do one side at a time. So what I like to do is I like to come in here and do this first. So get about 1/8 of an inch, and you can just go straight across. And then flip it around and do the same thing on the other side. And be very careful when you get close to the zipper because you don't want to cut into the zipper. Okay, and now you can cut your zipper and leave it a little bit long. Hi, Linda. Yeah, Diane, when you leave that extra in there, it does make it, it'll make it a little bit poofier, but you're not going to notice it when you're actually using it. So again, over here, I'm going to pull my zipper out of the way. So let me turn it this way. And I'm going to trim, I still have tape in there, trim the excess away. about 1/8 of an inch. Oh, and I just cut right through the FOE. Do the same thing with the FOE. I should have done that because especially if you're using gross grain ribbon, it might tear. So I should have left the FOE the same way. Sorry guys, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so now we're going to pull the ribbon zipper down. We're going to cut around here. Same thing. Avoid the zipper. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and cut this. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alright. Save some of these vinyl strips. Might be long enough to do something with. Alright. Now you can go around and trim the rest of it 1/8 of an inch. So let me get my next pieces on here for the lip. I'm not gonna line the lips. You guys can do that if you want, but we're just gonna leave it. Pull the extra tape off. I need to get some tweezers. Okay, so now I'm going to use the cutesy red. I think I've gone through almost a roll of vinyl. And again, I'll have cutting instructions for you guys in the PDF. So we need it to be halfway over there, the whitest section. And this looks like it's swimming in my frame because the Janome, actually the 4x4 is actually bigger than 4x4 on the Janome. I feel like I cut this too narrow. Hopefully it won't be. Okay. Actually, I should be able to just cut it right in half. I'm getting a little bit blinded from the sun coming in here, but hopefully the lighting is good for you guys. Okay, so move that out of the way for right now, and we're going to use our lips on the back of it, just to cuter. Okay, so again, we're going to line this up with this side of the tape and tape it down. And why are we taping it down? Because we don't want our fingers trying to hold this down while that machine is coming across. So tape it so you don't need to worry about cutting your fingers off. I don't know about you guys, but my insurance is not very great. We have one of those high deductible plans, which basically means that we don't get anything paid until we reach our deductible, which is $1,850 for me as a single person. My son has different insurance, and then we have to pay 20% after that. We do get all of our preventative medicine taken care of. So, okay, while that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and trim this one. Just trimming this. Multitasking. That's what I do the best. And see, I'm getting really close over here, so I need to be careful because I don't want to cut that tape that we just worked so hard to save. Okay, so now, and you actually don't even need to unhoop this. If you're careful, you can just pull your tape off. Use your fingers. And you can actually just fold it underneath the foot and fold it back that way. But if you want to get it really nice and taut with the boning tool, then take it out of the hoop and do it. Okay, this is going to do our top stitching. And these little baseballs would be really good for your kids for their lunch bags. If they need milk money or they need lunch money, You can hang it in their backpack, and then they don't have to worry about it getting lost in there. Okay, so I'm just trimming it all around. Meanwhile, come over here. I'm going to put in our next piece of vinyl. Why is this sticking? I hope my cutter is not breaking already. And again, we're going to line it up with this side now. Trim these little threads. Missed that one. And I think I forgot to put a link on the business page for this tape. I'm going to do that and the hemostats for you. Amazon doesn't allow affiliate links on the groups because the groups are private. And I like, you know, if you guys buy from my affiliate link, it just gives me a few extra pennies, which helps pay for all the supplies and everything. So it's helpful, but so far I haven't really gotten anything. Like, really hasn't taken off for me. Okay, so that's taped down. Now with these bags, when you're doing these in the hoop bags, this promo vinyl is okay because it's on the thinner side. But if you're using a marine grade vinyl, then consider using a 90-14 needle because it's very thick and the 75-11 needles may not go through it. Hey Grayson, your dog. Okay, I wanted to do one sample of each so I can show you guys again, so anybody who hasn't seen the videos on how to do the key fobs. Do you have water? I do. It's down there on the floor. You guys can get another demonstration of using the key fob tools. Oh, hey, this is Scarlet and Gray. That ended up working out okay. I didn't even plan it. I'm sure somebody in my neighborhood's gonna like this one. Okay. So now we're going to top stitch that down and I'm going to change the thread color. Meanwhile, I'm going to... Oh, sorry about that. Did that interrupt me? No, it's still live. That's my neighbor was calling. I forgot to turn the phone off. Hey, Grayson? Leslie was trying to call me right now and I'm on live. Could you run over real quick and tell her I'm busy right now and see if she needed something important? Leslie? Walk over there and ask her if she needed something important, that I'm on live right now. Maybe she was just mad because Bailey's barking. I don't know. Did you go ask Leslie if you wanted something? find your towel, please. Okay, now on this one, we need to reach inside and pull the tape out and push the zipper down. It's not horribly hard, but this is a tiny bag, so it's a little bit harder. I do not think this one will fit a credit card, but we'll find out in a second. I'm sorry if it's freezing up on you guys, because it is look like it's freezing to me on the display on my laptop. Alright, so now I'm going to flip this out. Just kind of put your fingers in and flip it out like that. I like to usually start down here in the bottom and use my thumb to hold on to that and then push it through and work one side at a time. Remove this tape. Yeah, I really needed to use the half-inch D-rings because the 3/4 is too big with this FOE. And then just reach inside with your finger and push along the seams all the way around. If you don't want to take such a small seam allowance, you can leave a 1/4 inch seam allowance and then just put little triangles all the way around it. Okay, let's go ahead and get this going. So we've got our decorative stitching done, and now we're going to put our backing on. First we're going to do our top stitching, sorry. I said it wrong again. I don't know if you guys know what aphasia is, but I have aphasia, and that's what the problem is. If I'm tired, or I have a migraine, or I have the lingering from the migraine, it really affects my speech. And it's horribly embarrassing because I've been in a situation where I say the wrong thing and I get made fun of at work, or somebody thinks I'm stupid, but I have no control over it. It just happens. And I have a pretty mild version of it. It can be very devastating for a lot of people. Mine's just very mild. Okay, so I smoothed out the zipper because it came gobbledygook. And again, remember, I'm putting the tape right at the top of where those two top stitchings came, because that's where it's going to baste. And we're using that tape because we want a bridge to make sure that it doesn't get stuck on the vinyl. And I'm going to switch back to the red thread, because in general, when you're doing these in the hoop bags that are not lined with the vinyl, match the thread color to the vinyl, because sometimes the threads have a tendency to show through your stitching. It's just the nature of the vinyl, and if you were doing it on a sewing machine, you could do a few things to help it, like a back stitch, and I try to do a extra row when I can, but you have to be very careful, because some embroidery machines, or you're using the wrong needle or something like that, if you come back through, it could actually cut the vinyl. So look at that. Every time it's worked today. Okay, so now I'm going to use these cute lips for the back. I love this stuff. I'm almost out of it though. So I'm going to flip this over because, again, if you're new, I haven't measured anything or gotten the cutting ahead of time, so I'm just winging it. And you could do that too if you don't want to have to fuss with cutting it. So what I'm doing is I'm just like holding it up here and making sure I have a 1/4 inch clearance on either side to the back. the original placement. But I'll have cutting instructions for you. Okay, so again, this is a time when you could go ahead and try and pull up the stabilizer from the zipper. I do find it's a lot harder with the lace zippers for some reason. Maybe it's not harder, it's just my brain thinks it's harder because I'm so afraid of tearing that lace zipper. There, I got a hold of the back, so I got most of it. But you can get it in there. If you hold it up to your light source, you can kind of see the hardware underneath it, so you know you're not going into the zipper. Just use the light behind you. There. This is what I was looking for. These are the Kai. Kai is my most favorite. And it's not shocking that they're my most favorite because that is actually the people who make my knives. I use Shun knives and Kai makes them and they are amazing. And I actually just discovered, and I'm heartbroken that I have a chip in one of my nails, or one of my knives. And these knives are not cheap. They're about $130 to $150. So I have to send it off and hopefully they can, whatever they do. What is that called? Oh, what is it called, guys? The ironsmith? Is that the right word? Yeah, ironsmith, right? No, blacksmith. Whatever it is. Blacksmith. Okay, I'm just going to wait until I'm done because, again, I'm just not having luck today and I don't want to risk tearing my zipper. So I'll trim that off when we're all done. So, here's my lips. And I'm going to fold it in half, line up to make sure I'm clearing the basting stitches by at least a 1/4 inch on either end, put it right towards the center, and then unfold it. Oops, I have it backwards. You guys were going to stop me from that, right? Okay, do this again. So put it up there, make sure it's covering, and then open it, unfold it, and tape it down. You don't usually need as much tape on the last step because it's not doing anything intricate. You just want to make sure that it's, the zipper foot's not going to get stuck in it. Okay. So, we're going to see if the credit card will fit in this. No, it's not going to fit in this one. And really work this out at the bottom to try and give it a more rounded look. We have the extra zipper tape in there, so that's why it's not wanting to get as round. But you can keep working at it, put some clips on it, and rub it between your fingers. Diane, the lips, I'm not going to do the FOE. I'm doing the key fob, but yes, I've already opened up the zipper on it. There you go. Huge as that. And I would do a better job of rolling the sides out. They look a little bit squarish. So here's the two sizes in comparison. The 4x4 and the 5x7. Okay, and again, we're going to skip the last step. That's just a step to make sure that we don't go back over the hardware. So here we go. Alright, I'm going to trim away all this. Try and stay in the camera, because I know we have a viewer who's hearing impaired. Taking all this tape off that I can. And take the tearaway away. And if you're using cutaway, then just leave it and leave it in there, and you can cut it away with the rest of it. I just love this little lip bag. So I'm taking the extra stabilizer on the back, because remember we didn't do the olifant on this one. Don't pull too hard on the stitching in your text area, because you don't want your text to come undone. Okay, and again, we're going to pull our zipper tape down and trim around it, because we do not want to cut our zipper off. And if you had ribbon in here, this one you can do either way. You can do the key fob, or you could have added ribbon in there. If you have ribbon in there, don't trim the ribbon too close either. Leave extra on the ribbon. So we're doing the rest of it about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'm leaving about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch extra on the zipper tape. And actually, if you're going to use the key fob hardware, you can get the top zipper a little closer, because the key fob hardware will really help make sure that the zipper doesn't come undone. It's going to be in there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish trimming around this. And it's kind of hard to make sure the zipper's out of the way. And then when we want to get 1/8 of an inch, and then I'll come back and show you what to do with that little notch at the lips to make sure that that turns in nicely too. And again, I'm not going to worry on this side, because this is where the key fob hardware is going to go. So it's fine if it's a little bit closer over there. If you're using really thin vinyl and the key fob hardware, then put an extra bit of cutaway or something in there, because you want to make sure there's enough meat of the vinyl to hold the zipper, or I'm sorry, to hold the key fob in there. Okay. This is really small, so it's going to be fun to turn, because it's narrow. Okay, so I got most of this tearaway off that I could. So again, I'm going to open up and push that zipper pull down. One trick, if you have trouble pushing it, getting your hand in there, you can reach in with your, not on this kind because this doesn't have the hook on the end, but on the regular zipper you can reach in with your seam ripper and put this through the little hook of the zipper and push it through. Can't show you that since this is the other one. Again, so here's the bottom, so I left this extra tab here. Hi Cheryl, we are actually just finishing up 2 new key fobs. And if you did not get part of that pre-order for the key fob hardware from New Moon, make sure to check with Jean and see if she's going to order any more. There is a source on Amazon as well, but the one they only have just the plain silver ones, and that's what I'm displaying. Oh, I forgot. Got distracted. So you want to make sure that you want to be able to get to the notch right here, and so it turns easily. So don't cut into the thread, but come in at an angle and cut out just like 45-degree angle at each of that intersection. It's probably easier to see on this side. You don't want to get cut into the threads, but you just want to cut that tiny little notch out, and that'll help your lips look more like lips. And I'm going to turn it inside out again. And these vinyls are pretty good to turn. The lips is not as nice as the promo, but it's still okay. I didn't even try, and I did get it in the right direction on the back, and I didn't even try. So push out all the way around. And then when you get to the lips, make sure you push up in there. This is a time when those hemostats are good, which I don't know what I did with those. I'm just pushing from inside. And this is a really narrow one because in order to get the look of the lips in the 4x4 hoop, it had to be narrow. Okay, and see how I was able to get that pushed out. And because I left that extra ribbon in there, that's secure and it's not going to come undone. And just push out over here so that you can see all your letters. And then zip it up. There we go. Isn't it so cute? Alright, and then you'll work with it a little bit more and roll out all those seams. So now we're going to do the key fob hardware. And this has a little bit of a pointy edge. So I recommend only using the 1 inch on this one. So here's my key fob hardware. Let me see if I can do this on this table. If you're wondering why my table is leaning down, if you can tell, for some reason something is not right with this table and the arm is rubbing on it when it comes across, and I just don't think that's probably a good thing long term, so I just poked it up a little. I don't know if there's I might have to get some felt pads underneath the embroidery machine to lift it up a little bit. My thing came out of here. Okay, so you can see this is the table, the flat pliers, so it's sort of like a table press, and I have the key fob hardware in here. So what I want to do is get my teeth into it. So this is my front side, so I'm going to put my teeth on the back side. So I like to keep my zipper up as much as I can. So I'm going to bury my teeth into the key fob hardware. And this one is not as big as the, where's the, this is wider up here because it's bigger, so it covered more space. This one's not as wide, so it's not going to cover as much. But again, you can do a ribbon instead if you want. Okay, so I'm pushing this in as far as I can get it, just to make sure there's enough meat in it for those hooks to get in there and hold on. Okay, and I think that's good. And you might have to pull it out and push it in again. Okay, I think that's good. And I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm just going to press one time. And there you go. And so you can see this doesn't fill in as much, but it's still very secure. I wanted to use these other kind that I have, but I could not get it. Oh, where am I? I'm not finding them. I couldn't get it over the hump, but I just need pliers. These ones are really cute that I got, and they would work perfect for this little bag. Because see how it's rounded here? It would have been perfect. I'll show you on this end. It would have been perfect for this bag, but I couldn't get it through the thickness. They're too tight, and I didn't want to get my pliers. But if you guys have these kind, that would be really adorable to use on it. And again, this is not gonna hold a credit card. It will not fit in this small one. So I know where my split ring is. Okay, any questions, everybody? Hi, Milagros. Oh, hi, Biva. Crystal. We just finished these new key fob pouches. So the lips, you can use either key fob hardware, or you can do a ribbon, like an FOE on the end, like that. And the baseballs have two versions. One, if you want to use the key fob hardware, so it has a tab there. And the second one will be no tab, so you can add a piece of ribbon in there to hold it instead. So And this will be coming as well as soon as I have time to test stitch out that second one. Oh, let's put that on our lips. Sorry about the dog. Hey, babe. We can put it through this little loop here. It's sick. It's too cute, isn't it? So you have something to grab onto, the zipper pull. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Sorry for the little noise there at the end. And I will get this video uploaded as soon as I can. And also, I should have said this at the beginning. If the little live button is not on at the top, then it's no longer live, but you can finish watching and replay and comment and all that good stuff. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.